Well, now to this, the father of Apalachee High School shooter Colt Gray will spend the next 15 years in prison.
A judge handing down that sentence for the 55-year-old Colin Gray just a few hours ago. That shooting on September 4th of 2024 killed two teachers, Christina Iremi and coach Ricky Aspinwall, and two students, Mason Schermerhorn and Christian Angulo. Colin Gray was convicted on more than 24 counts. 11 Alive's Grace King joining us now from the courthouse live this evening.
And Grace, we know that you have followed this case from the very beginning, seeing those families face to face when this all came down in Apalachee 2 years ago. What was the reaction inside of the courtroom today, seeing this all come to an end now?
It was a lot of disappointment in the courtroom. Colin Gray was sentenced to 15 years in prison, far less than the 80 years the prosecution had asked for. One family member said it wasn't what they wanted, but they'll have to accept it. Others broke down in tears.
No sentence will ever feel fair to the family of Ricky Aspinwall.
My now 4-year-old thinks her daddy is still at football practice and wishes he could come home.
No words could explain it to Mason Schermerhorn's family.
That wasn't an accident. That wasn't bad luck. That wasn't simply poor judgment. That was a choice. A choice that handed a troubled teenager the very weapon that was later used to murder my son.
And nothing will ever bring back Christian Angulo or Christina Iremi.
A parent's negligence shouldn't cost innocent children their lives.
But on September 4th, 2024, that negligence did claim 4 innocent lives.
You were convicted because the warning lights were flashing brighter and brighter, and you didn't get him help, and you didn't remove his access to the guns.
Judge Nicholas Prim acknowledged the difficulty of sentencing this case, a first of its kind in Georgia, and one relying solely on criminal negligence.
In the one scenario, Colt changes his mind, doesn't go through with it. You're not charged with any crime at all. Your very same failures, Colt goes through with it as he did, commits the atrocity, and the state's asking for 80 years confinement for you.
He sentenced Colin Gray to 15 years, a number many families say doesn't even come close.
And while Mr. Gray will eventually leave the courtroom, I will never leave my sentence. I will spend the rest of my life carrying the unimaginable weight of the future that was stolen.
And Grace, I mean, I can't imagine how hard it is for those family members. It's impacting everyone here. We know that Colin Gray's sentence, like you said in your package, the first one here in Georgia, really the second time we are seeing this in the country where a parent is sentenced because of the actions of their child. We know Colt will spend the rest of his life in prison. But this case for his father, this is setting a precedent, not just here in Georgia, but across the country.
Well, we know that the Gray family had researched that Michigan case you referenced before this shooting happened. They knew there was some level of responsibility there, and prosecutors say that's about the time that Colin began researching gun safes, gun locks, things like that. Now, ultimately, he decided not to buy those safety measures, but prosecutors hope seeing Colin's sentencing, seeing the one in Michigan, will give that warning to parents that you can and will be held responsible if something happens and you had the power and the knowledge to stop it. They hope there won't be any more of these cases if parents are able to intervene soon enough. Live in Barrow County, Grace King, 11 Alive News.
Yeah, the judge repeating that over and over. Grace, thank you so much. The judge saying that this is a crime of criminal negligence because the father had not locked up his gun, because he did not take those bullets out. If he would have done any of those, the judge saying that we wouldn't be here right now, at least Colin wouldn't. We also heard from District Attorney Brad Smith from Barrow County after this sentencing. He tells us his hope is that this tragedy sends a message to families.
I'm not against people owning guns. I own them myself. But when you see someone in distress, please take away their access to guns. This is not, these kids are not in a position where they are able to make rational decisions when it comes to things like firearms. And we need as a society step up and realize who should and who should not have access to them.
And now the father who was responsible for Colt is being held accountable. The sentencing happened just before the first day of school for students in Barrow County. They'll head back tomorrow, and the district attorney says that while the timing is not ideal, it's better to have this case wrapped up instead of continuing it during the school year.